Hi, I'm Sean McCauley with Cloud Defensive, and just to describe who we are, simply said, we're problem solvers. We're not looking to reinvent the wheel, but we are looking to improve things that need to be improved. Our first product is the light control system with the optional integrated cable clamp. We addressed a problem that we've thought for many years ourselves, and we think we did a very good job with this. And so I want to talk to you a little bit about it and explain the benefits and let you decide for yourself. They make a fantastic switch with the ST07. A lot of us have used it over the years, and when I say used it, I mean relied upon it. And we've done so with a variety of different improvised attachment methods, be it rubber bands or zip ties. I've seen guys wire it to their guns, I've seen guys tape it to their guns. And simply said, that never sat well with me. You've got a $250 to $350 weapon light on probably a $2,000 rifle or more, and we're zip tying something to our gun. It just shouldn't be that way. We've got dedicated and really good mounts for everything else on the rifle. There's no reason, in my mind, that we should settle for anything less when it comes to our tape switch and our pressure switch. What we've done here is we solved that issue. We've been asked, how strong is this mount? Can it take the abuse? Can it handle combat, self-defense, any other scenario it might find? We believe with all of our hearts the answer is yes. Here's some demos. Impact from the top.
No movement, no damage to the unit.
3 or 4 more. Okay, good. 6 or 7 times. Keep it going. 2 more. 2 more. Okay, walk it up here.
Still tight.
Hold right there. Don't clean off quite yet. All right. Still tight. Pull on it. Totally. Okay. All right. The next thing I want to talk about is the wire. Specifically, control or lack thereof. With other attachment methods, be it rubber bands or zip ties or tape or anything else, most often you have cable control issues. Even if you zip tie it and wire it and get it really good and tight to your rail, at the end of the day, those are still improvised solutions to a problem that should just simply be solved by a mount. That's what we've done here. So, as you can see here, hopefully, this mount secures the cable fore and aft, and it's locked down. It cannot move, which means when you're slinging your weapon, when you're getting out of a car, when you're moving around a structure, through a house, any scenario, you cannot snag that cable. Sorry, you cannot snag that cable on anything. And as we all know, when you snag that cable, you'll either pull it out of the socket on the light, or more commonly, you'll just simply dislodge a tape switch from an improvised mounting method. There are a couple of hidden benefits to the LCS system that go beyond the notion of a good mount or the strength of a mount. First of all, just from a demonstration perspective, it gives you a very nice indexing point for your thumb. So when you go to bring that weapon up, you actually have a very nice place to set your thumb. So indexing is a huge thing. The other thing that we really wanted to address was the actual function of the tape switch itself. When it comes to tape switches with improvised mounting methods, specifically things like Velcro, by putting a soft, squishy piece of Velcro directly underneath your tape switch, between your tape switch and your rail, you actually require more force going down into that tape switch to activate the light. Oftentimes, you've actually only got truly usable area on that tape switch because of that give towards the middle of the switch. With the LCS, you've actually got, again, 70-75 aluminum running the full length. And so what that gives you is a rock solid backbone. and it gives you a surface that allows you to activate the light, which I'm hoping you can see here, from the very, very back of it all the way to the very, very front of it. My thumb is actually halfway off that switch, if you can see it, and I can still activate the light. So it gives me a much more usable area, and another huge thing, it allows me to activate that light with less pressure. If you compare the amount of pressure it takes to activate this versus the amount of pressure it takes to activate this exact same switch sitting on Velcro, it takes less pressure. Okay, so it's easier to activate and you've got more usable area. That's huge. Improvised attachment methods for your tape switch are not a good option. Here's why. As you can see, I've used 2 Ranger bands, which are very stout, and actually they're probably the best bands on the market to secure it. And so that's how I ran it for a lot of years, and it is what it is. Now, 2 weaknesses. First of all, the most obvious, perhaps, is all that loose cable. I dealt with that by trying to tuck it up there, tuck it under a band, or whatever, which it would inevitably get pulled right out. And then it would snag stuff. Big problem. Now, you might say, well, those are stout rubber bands, and, you know, the mount moves a little bit, but it doesn't really move that much. I assure you that does impact your ability to find your tape switch, especially when you're using it, you're in the dark. So remember that. And it just didn't take much. I mean, this is one finger, just kind of pulling. Not to mention a sharp force, which will just pull it clean out. That was, again, one finger. Okay. Just ask yourself this question. Should you have to zip tie anything to the firearm that you bet your life on? I said no. You should not have to. That's one of the reasons we came up with the LCS system. And when you compare it, there just is no comparison, okay? Here's an example of it. We'll get some other good video here, but the LCS secures the mount and secures the cable into a package that simply beats a zip tie any way you cut it. If you want to spend the least amount of money and pay a couple of pennies, yep, you can use a zip tie, but it's a liability and it's a weak link. No more weak links. All right, I just want to talk a little bit about the actual design of this. What we've done here is we've created a mount that is one piece in and of itself, and then the integrated cable clamp is a second piece that bolts onto it. Now, most Picatinny attachments are actually 2 pieces, and they form a clamp that a screw goes through and sucks it tight to the rail. What we chose to do was a little bit different, and it was very intentional. The reason we did it, one word, strength. We wanted one piece that cannot fail. In our mind, there are a couple of things on your rifle that under no circumstance can fail, and your tape switch activation is one of them. You bet your life on your weapon light. We can't have it failing. So, one piece design, and with that, it slides in over the rail, so once it's installed, it cannot physically come off, barring a catastrophic failure of the weapon system, at which point, it's a moot point.